It's you.
Is it me, love?
It's you, Miss Legs. How are you?
Hiya, Glenn Marshall Adams, DJ Glenn in the house.
Hello, Miss Legs.
Button mushroom.
Button mushroom?
Yeah.
That's twice I've been called that today.
That's it. That's it. You've been downgraded, love. You've been downgraded. I am absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. How are you, Doc?
I'm really good, thanks.
Good.
Been busy. Lots of planning and stuff that's going on because we've got a lot of shows coming up, which I'm super excited about.
Ooh.
So I'm crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's.
That's my line.
Full stops, question marks, exclamation marks, backslashes, angle brackets, and curly braces.
To see while you're saying that, can I ask you a question? Do you ever watch do you ever study people's literature?
No.
Especially on social media, how they spell, their spelling.
We're talking about grammar.
Grammar, sorry.
Yes,
grammar,
yes,
literatures.
right.
Yeah, sorry. Their grammar. Well, sometimes I take my dead end at it. I think to myself, what in the name of good God? See if a word has 4 letters in it. It's not that difficult. Why do you want to shorten it? And why do you want to move the letters around? We know exactly what you mean. You know, if you're going to spell a word, like, for instance, my brother does it to me, you know, and I nearly said a word there.
Oh no, what was the word? Because I was going to give you a word.
I would have to be beeped out.
Okay, so there's a word that really goads me that people constantly misuse.
I think I know what it is.
And it's use.
U-S-E?
Yeah, rather than Y-O-U.
Apostrophe S.
S-E.
Yeah.
Or apostrophe S. So you can spell it Y-O-U apostrophe S-E, use, or Y-O-U apostrophe S.
Yeah, that's how I spell it, not with the E. Yeah, and people go, are yous going to bingo? USA. I understand that, like, it's shorthand, modern day shorthand.
But I mean, I don't know. But you spelled that way is I'm almost sure it's like, is it a verb, which is like or an adjective? I mean, I have to look it up. And another one, and I have to be guilty because there's been times I've been in a rush and I have used it. And ANO. Well, I tend to do that, to be fair.
So do I.
I am guilty of that. So,
we're so two-faced.
Why? So USE. Use is a verb, and according to Google Dictionary or the Oxford Languages Dictionary, it means take hold or deploy something as a means of accomplishing or achieving something. Employ. She used her key to open the door. To take or consume. But like, I don't know whether it can be really used as a supplement for YOU apostrophe S or apostrophe SE. Personally, that's one I've noticed a lot of people use on the old socials.
There's so much more, and I guess in a way, you know, I'm obviously a different generation, and school was school, and you did as you were taught, you know, and I look and I think, oh my word. But sometimes I take my dead end because, do you know, the irony is I understand it because people now spell as they speak.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
It's the phonetics. It's like they're spelling it out pretty much phonetically, but not in like modern day phonetically. It's like, I get it.
They make it up as they go along.
Or I've noticed quite a lot of people don't really know how to use punctuation. I personally don't really know how to use punctuation.
I do.
But it's like, it's just one continuous sentence. You have to try and work out where to actually breathe or where one sentence finishes and another one starts.
And you know, when I have like a few things to say, I love my paragraphs. I love my paragraphs.
I much prefer that than somebody sending me 15 text messages to say like, you know, an actual statement which they could have said in one paragraph.
In one text?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh no, absolutely right.
Speaking of texting, I bought my mummy an iPhone about 4 or 5 years ago, and God bless her, she just couldn't get used to it. And you know the abbreviations for BFF and all that. And the next thing she goes to me, Tina, quick. And I was like, what's wrong? Oh my God, your Auntie Anne's had an accident. And I looked, and my Aunt Anne had texted my mummy to say BFF, best friends forever. I went, Mummy, what do you think that means? And she went, me best friend fell. Oh God, I've got to love her. Anyway.
So
Moving on.
What have you been up to
I
this
celebrated last week my birthday.
You did? You're now 57 years young.
Heinz variety, love. Mm-hmm.
Did you have a nice birthday?
I had one of the nicest, softest, easiest birthdays
Good.
I could ever wish for. It was just lovely. I had flowers and people calling and gifts and presents. And then we went to a gorgeous little quaint watering hole on the Cave Hill Road.
Okay.
For lunch.
Who did you go with?
Called Ben Madigan's. And I went with Jake and Kathy.
Good, yes.
And I have to say, we met one of the most unbelievably put together. Do you know when you meet someone that should be in a job?
Mm-hmm.
This lady was in the right job.
Okay.
And she was magnificent. Now, don't know her name, unfortunately, but two of us walked in, we're waiting on Jake parking up, and she looks at us and Kathy goes, "Could we have a table for 3?" And here she's, "What? 3?" And I went, "No, the other one's parking the car." And she goes, "Oh, sorry. Do you want that table or would you like this table beside the window?" So we took a seat. The food was immaculate.
Ooh.
I had a lovely big dirty burger and big chunky fries. Jake had a club sandwich. Kathy had fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, talk about cooked to perfection.
Oh, that's
but
good.
the funny thing was, she came over to us and she leant over the table kind and she goes, "Well, did you enjoy your food?" And I was like, "Oh, it was delicious. Thank you so much. Do you want a wee sweet?" And we were kind of about to say no. And she leant into us and she goes, "Here, see the pavlova? It wobbles." Well, I thought, oh my God, you are so good at your job. So she kind of walked away at this point, and Jake looked at Kathy, and Kathy goes to Jake, "Pavlova's your favourite, Jake." And Jake goes to me, "And it wobbles." And I went, "Oh my word. They do Knickerbocker glories." Like, you know, the old school, proper Knickerbocker glories. So I waved at her and she came over here. She's at work, didn't it? And I was like, "Yeah, 2 pavlovas and a Knickerbocker glory, please." Oh my Lord. I was licking the inside of that massive cup, that big, tall glass. It was we came out busted.
I'm not surprised.
Went home and first time ever I can remember doing this. I went into the co-op on the Old Park Road during the day to get bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. And Bridgine was working behind the counter. And as soon as I walked in, "Girls, Tina, happy birthday, love." And everybody in the co-op looked at me. And I was like, "Oh, I love this." I knew you pretend to be
the local celebs just walked in.
There she is, big legs. And by the time I got to the counter, one of the other staff came out from behind in the staff room. She's walking out here. She's asked from all the staff, "Big box of milk tray."
Oh, lovely.
I know.
Oh, that was awfully kind of them.
You see, that's why I say shop local.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shop local.
Your local cooperative.
Absolutely. And then I went down home. So here's my point. Me and Thumper, Mummy was in bed. And I thought, "Oh God, you know what? I have a box of milk tray in there." And I looked at Thumper and he looked at me.
Tell me you didn't face plant it.
Did you hear? I did. I went, made a big cup of tea, big mug of tea. I took out that box of milk tray and I opened them. Uh-huh. And I was sniffing every one of them. I ate the whole top layer.
Well, do you know what? It's your bleeding birthday. Why not?
I thought, you know what? Nobody's going to be as good to me as I am.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
And no, I didn't give Thumper any.
Well, no,
should never give dogs chocolate.
It's poisonous, isn't it?
But every time I had a sweet, I give him a kiss.
Oh.
So I was sharing. I was sharing in a way. Do you know what I mean? The child was just looking at me, and I was like, "Happy birthday to." you know when kids teach each other.
Yeah.
I got some ice cream. You didn't get none. You're on the welfare.
Well, it sounds like you had a fab birthday.
It was delicious. But here, I'll tell you a funny story. So I was getting in the bed and my friend rang me. My friend texts me, "Sorry, Danielle Nesbitt." And she goes to me, "Well, love, did you get them?" And I text back, "Get what? Your flowers and your tin of beans?" And I went, "What?" So she rang me. And I said, "No, I'm sorry, I didn't." she rang me. She says to me, Tina, are you joking me? And I was like, I swear to God, love, I never got them. Here, she said, what number do you live in on the Deer Park? I said 97. Here she says, oh my God, I sent them to 92. I had to get up my house coat, my fluffy slippers, right? And I had to march down the middle of Deer Park Road, 9:30 at night, like an absolute robber, and go to 92. And lo and behold, it was the most biggest, beautiful bouquet of flowers and a tin of beans, all gift wrapped.
Oh, lovely.
Heinz variety. So, yeah. And I thought, what am I going to do here? Do I rap a door and say, can I have them or mine? It's my birthday. But when I looked, there was a little envelope on it and said Tina likes tantrum. So I think whoever arrived, because there was a big van at the door, have walked straight past them and goes, well, we know who that is and she can come down and get them herself. He wouldn't even bring them up. I'm only joking. I wouldn't expect them to. But yeah, so I went to bed with a big smile on my face.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
20 stone heavier.
No, well, a belly full of milk tray.
A belly full of, all because Tina loves milk tray.
Did the milk tray man arrive?
What about you, love? What have you been up to? How's your week?
My week has been good. I, like most guys in the land, I was super excited because the day had finally arrived last Friday. Wicked, the movie.
Wow.
Finally came out. Only part one now, right, mind you. But did you ever see the Wicked the musical? Did you ever see it in London?
I did. I've seen it live.
What did you think of it?
Rachel Tucker.
Oh, yes.
Rachel Tucker was in the West
She
End.
played Alphabet, didn't she?
She did. And Sammy O'Boyle and I were heading to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So we done a stopover. Mm-hmm. And we went and we watched it. I couldn't move. I was rooted to my seat. Now, I love The Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. I love everything about it. I grew up with it because it was on every Christmas day. That was the big movie. When I watched it, I couldn't believe. I actually felt like I was on my own and it was being done for me. And when it was over, me and Sammy looked at each other. The two of us were just completely goosebumps, spellbound, speechless.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. How was the movie?
So it was good, but before I get on to that, obviously, for those people who have not seen Wicked or don't know much about Wicked, I thought I should maybe just explain. So Wicked is set within the Wizard of Oz universe. It picks up pretty much after where the Wizard of Oz finished. Yeah. So this is where the Wicked Witch was melted and Dorothy, the Tin Man, Lion and Scarecrow were making their way back to Oz. But what it does is it then jumps from that portion in time and then it goes back. So it's almost like an origin story of how Elphaba, or the Wicked Witch of the West, became the Wicked Witch of the West.
Right.
And then Glinda, or Galinda, Glinda the Good, and it talks about how they actually met. The story sort of like starts there, and it talks about, you know, how they went to school together and ultimately how they grew to love each other.
Right.
So that's the plot of Wicked. I will not say too much, but the movie now, I think it's divided a lot of people. It has. Some people are sort of saying, "Oh, I don't know," but for me personally, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, it is only part one,
right?
2 hours long, but it's very, very true to the musical. Like almost the dialogue is like word for word, almost word for word, than what you would get in the actual play. Seeing the sort of this universe finally being, you know, drawn in movie format rather than, you know, having just a bit of a set behind you on stage and you have to try and fill in the blanks. You know, it's like visually it's stunning. The acting, Cynthia Evero is absolutely insanely talented. Brilliant as Elphaba, and not to mention Ariana Grande as Glinda is also like just out of this world. Vocally, the pair of them together, chef's kiss. Just they are that just the way that their voices blend. I'm doing my gushy thing that I like to do when I'm really excited about something.
Go on, love, gush.
But honestly, just it stayed really, really close and true to the Broadway play, which, having seen Wicked about 5 times myself, in West End and all the rest of it, thoroughly enjoyed it. I cannot now wait for part 2, which comes out a year from now.
Well, you see, now I wanted to hear that myself from you, and that's the first I've heard of it because I knew you went to see it, you see. And I thought to myself, do you know what, I'll wait to get into the studio because this will be a wonderful talking point. And as much as I love, Judy Garland, God bless her, we cotton socks. I'm going to go and see it now.
Definitely. And I would encourage anybody whether you've seen Wicked or not, you don't need to have watched the musical to understand the movie. The movie does it well.
Does it all by itself.
It's explaining kind of how, there's lots of Easter eggs in it. There's a special cameo, which I'm not going to spoil for you. When you see the cameo, you're going to wet yourself.
Right.
You're just going to wet yourself. For those who are fans of the original Broadway production, you will absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. But anyway, so I've been up to that this week. Desperate now for next year to come around so we can see part 2.
Oh.
But have you been watching, of course, I'm a Celeb's back on the telly?
Yes.
Have you been watching?
Bits and bobs.
Well, I'm not a massive I'm a Celeb fan. I watch it because Gary likes to watch it. So it's on every night whenever we're in the house.
Gary, your husband.
Gary's my husband, yes. But it's got quite a few celebs on there this year. We've got our homegrown Dean McCullough, who's best known as being a BBC Radio 1 DJ.
Barry McGuigan,
yes. Boxing legend.
Yes.
You've also got Jane Goodall?
Yes.
Is that Jane Goodall from Loose Women? You've got Alan Halsall, who was Tyrone in Corey. You've got Danny from McFly.
Maura Higgins
from Love Island. You've got Talisa, who was in N-Dubs. You've got the one and only Wagatha Christie herself,
Colleen Rooney. I think she's amazing.
So the cast this year is pretty good. I mean, still a couple of people in there that I would never have heard of. There's an influencer, GK Barry, never heard of her. Clearly there for the younger audience, must be a massive TikTok fan.
She's huge.
So I could well believe it. She's on I'm a Celeb, so I'm assuming that she's got a really big following, and that's the reason why they've asked her on. But I don't know whether you've been following it just closely, but Dean is not getting a terribly good at it, I have to say. I think the audience are sort of gunning for him now. Obviously you get to choose who does the trials and all the rest of it. He's been up for every single trial.
6.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
The first 2, he did say, I'm a celebrity.
Get me out of here.
Are, of course, those uttered words. The first time that he said it, it was like a sarcophagus that was being filled up with sand. Mm-hmm. And I could understand if you're claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic, maybe just not to that extent. It was only up to about the middle of his legs, and he said it. And then the second task that he done, they had fish guts poured onto him.
Squealing.
And he squealed. He did, and said, I'm a celebrity. But I have to say, what really surprised me was Ant and Dec's reaction.
They were bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, but Ant in particular, now obviously this has been well reported, and Ant has had to sort of back up.
Yeah.
But they haven't, Ant in particular hasn't maybe been just the kindest, I would say.
Well, to be honest with you, I think he's coming from, I'm going to balance this out.
Please do, yeah.
Because I think they really want him to do well because they know what's going to happen on social media.
Yeah.
And I think they're genuinely disappointed because he's a lovely guy and he's on national television. He's got a wonderful platform and he's young and he's vibrant and he's full of life. And they're probably looking at him and thinking, don't keep doing the same thing. Yeah. Try a little bit harder. Yeah. And I don't think that they're actually criticising because it may come across that they don't like him. I think Ant and Dec, particularly Ant, really likes him, but he wants him to succeed. I think stop the screaming.
It's the frustration, isn't it? Because I
pure frustration.
I heard Ant had said that, I think his source of frustration has came from the fact that people have put a lot of time and effort into devising these trials.
Yeah.
And then
they're going to waste.
Yeah, they're just, in a heartbeat or
cost
a whim.
A fortune and then the insurance on top of that.
Yeah, but it's the name of the game, right? So,
he's every right to shout, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here if he wants. That's the gamble they have to take. It doesn't matter about the cost. If someone's in there and they're feeling a certain way and they want out, they have the right to go.
I agree.
But when it's 6 times in a row and you've cost the company about, I would say, maybe close to £250,000 with all the gadgets and all the build-up and all this kind of stuff, I can understand the frustration from the entire production. Yeah, it's like us doing a show and then I go to you, no, I'm not doing the game show. No, I'm not going on first. No. And then at the very end, you say, what's wrong with you? And I go to you, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Yeah. You would get frustrated with me. I know you love me to bits.
Yeah.
But you would kind of, after the 6th show, go to me, right?
I know, enough.
I'm going to put your head through that wall.
Enough.
And it's only coming from a place where Ant actually cares for him. And you know what? I watch it in catch up. I watch it the next day. Mm-hmm. And personally at home, I'm watching them and I'm thinking, what way would I be if I was in there? How would I feel if I was surrounded?
Oh, we're all armchair critics, aren't we?
Aren't we all?
It's easy. It's
Aren't
very
we all?
easy.
It's like we charity.
Oh, it's like charity.
And I have to say, I thought she was amazing in RuPaul's Drag Race, and the comments she made about there were only 3 drag queens in Belfast. You know, everybody shut up and mind your business. It's their platform.
Yeah.
Let them do what they want to do, how they want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, criticise, but shut up and move on.
Well, actually, just before we move on.
And can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
Sorry. He has helped to create nearly 6.5 million viewers, which is the highest ratings that I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here has had in a number of years.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Although one incident that really sort of stood out for me, which I wanted to mention, was Saturday night. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
So on Saturday night, he done a trial and he came back and he fell asleep.
Yes, I did. On the camp bed.
Yes, and Alan Halsall, who is Tyrone Murphy. Mm-hmm. Is it Tyrone Murphy?
Tyrone. Yeah, Tyrone. Okay. You're thinking of Delicious.
I'm thinking the other one, aren't I? Fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Okay, let me try that again.
Keep that in. Alan played the part of Tyrone.
Turns out that he's not called Tyrone Murphy. He's just called Tyrone. So the beef was, okay, well, we'll act it out. I'll be Dean, you be Tyrone then.
Okay. You ready?
Go.
Hiya, mate. Hiya. Listen, you need to go with Jane and collect some wood. Hiya. Hello. Dean, you not want to go for wood? No. Okay. I'll go.
So in this moment, Dean wakes up.
Yep.
And
Alan's halfway down helping Jane.
Chasing Jane, yep. And when he gets down there, Dean basically goes, no, mate, you need to give me time. I wear contact lenses. I've only just woke up and it takes me a couple of minutes for my contact lenses to adjust. I did LOL at that.
So did I. I think everybody did. And I think that was a turning point when someone who's been doing trials, who hasn't been doing very well, you kind of go, oh, hold on a wee minute, princess. Maybe you just should have stayed in bed, because you suddenly realise, oh my God, I'm on national television. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And when he done that, and especially when he started to raise his voice and said, no, mate, you listen to me.
Yeah.
I thought, whoa.
It was a bit close.
It was too close to the bone.
But this is where I've said to you about the edit, and I know that that showed the full sequence, but it didn't sort of show. It just showed you him arriving down at the creek. It didn't show really any interaction before that, because there could have been an interaction before that. We just don't know, And I know that you shouldn't blame the edit, because if you've said it, you did it. I
said what I said.
But there is also that potential element which you need to take into consideration as well.
Of course.
But it just didn't play out very well from what we've seen.
No, and what I noticed was he came back with 3 blocks of wood, and poor big James carrying a massive bag.
I've seen that. I've seen that, and he just sauntered on by.
Miss McCullough afraid of breaking a nail, never mind our lenses. I was like, what in the name? Can you not see what's in front of you here? So he's obviously blinded by ambition.
Yeah,
he really is.
Listen, the exposure that he's got, everybody will know who he is now.
Well, whoever schooled him and informed him, he must have been on the phone with Gemma Collins before he went in. How do I work this? How do I get that? Even if I don't win, I want to be remembered.
He will be remembered.
He will be remembered. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to him.
For sure.
And I think now what'll happen is that now Maura and Colleen, I think it is, are doing a thing. No, it's Jane and Maura.
Oh, okay. So they chose somebody different, did they?
2.
Finally, so Dean got a night off.
He got a night off.
Well,
now, what do you say what's going to happen? I know what's going to happen. It'll be either Dean or the Reverend are going to be voted off first. One or the other.
So from looking at it from a social media point of view.
Listen, but I tell you something. See the paycheck at the end of it? I wouldn't mind going off first. He's already made his mark. He's done what he's supposed to do. Yep. He's come back to a 5-star luxury hotel with all the works and all the trimmings. And
then, not to mention your height of the summer in Australia as well.
Exactly. Bondi Beach on Grindr. Oh my God. Here, listen. Fair play to you, Dean. Fair play to you, love. Listen, Sips and Giggles has got you. We got your back, Dean. We've got your back, love. You work it, Wilma. You work it, honey.
Yes, but if you are a support homegrown talent, whenever it comes to it, throw him a couple of votes to win.
That's it.
Why not? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whether he grinds your gears or not, support local
If he's
talent.
grinding your gears, he's doing something right.
Absolutely. But just mentioning social media.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've been on social media much within the last week, but there's a lot of scams going around at the moment.
Wild.
A lot.
Yeah.
So this week I got a message from a family member's a member of my almost kind of like extended family, and the message came through on Facebook Messenger,
Right.
saying, "Hey, I've just recently got a new phone, and I'm trying to log into my Facebook account.
Yeah.
I need to send you a code. Can you send me the code?"
Yeah.
Now, I'm savvy, as you know.
Oh, of course.
Straight away, I thought,
Oh, you're like lightning.
well, why would you need me to be sending you a code? First of all, I hadn't heard from this person in a couple of years. And that's not to say that we don't talk, but it's just, I thought it was uncharacteristic for them to sort of reach out of the blue and start asking me for help, with technical stuff.
Yeah.
So I've done a very, very quick Google search, scams on Facebook, asking me for my telephone number, and of course up came like a million results that basically said this is a scam. Straight away I was on to them.
Oh, I'm sure you had fun, honey.
Tina, I wasted an hour.
Having fun with them, did you?
I did, yeah. So I was like, right, can you go and grab a pen and I'll send you my number? And of course they were like, I don't have a pen. And I was like, well, how are you going to memorize my number?
Yeah.
And they went, right, okay, I've got a pen. And I was like, for goodness sake. And then I asked, how's Berg, Berg? How's Berg? And they wrote back, Berg's lovely. I haven't a clue who Berg is. And I was like, did they enjoy Aspen? Oh, yes, had a great time. And I thought, okay, so they've just really confirmed that they're scammers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I started writing out the number, and I've done it one message at a time. Sent enter, 7, hit enter, and then I hit 6. I started making numbers up, and I went, oh no, that's wrong. Sorry, I've got the 6 and the 9 the wrong way around. And then I put in 07996, and I went, oh God, no, I've got the 9 the wrong way, and I've got the 9 the wrong way around. And they went, okay, let me know whenever you're ready to get the right numbers. This went on. Honestly, I wet myself laughing.
Good.
Just to myself, just for the crack, for about an hour. But there is a lot of it going around. So just as an FYI to yourself, Legsy, and of course our listeners who may not be as savvy, if anybody messages you online asking you for a PIN code or a verification code, absolutely say no. Nobody will ever ask you for a verification code. And typically what happens is they send you this verification code. They will ask you for your mobile number. They put your mobile number into Facebook. Facebook then pings you a verification code because they've chose to try and reset your password and will ultimately hack your account.
Yeah.
So just be very careful.
And the other thing that they've done now, do you remember everybody used to be weary of the scammers in the last few years because they always rang from a withheld number?
Yes.
Now scammers numbers come up.
Right, okay.
You will see a legit like UK or
like an 08 number or
08 number, yeah. And it's an automated HMRC have been in touch, and don't just end the call. Go into the call, go into the info, go down to the bottom, block caller.
Yep.
Every single one of them. And do you know what I also learned today? And this is I think this is just the best thing because I still use it.
Okay.
Cash.
Okay, help me understand. What's that got to do with scamming?
Well, if you're not using your card and you're not going to go to a machine and withdraw a whole load of money in the middle of the high street and someone's already rigged that machine. So many people, nearly 40% of people in the last 6 months have gone back to using cash and coins.
Okay.
To pay for things like groceries, petrol, parking, bus fares. And a lot of people are going to public transport rather than, say you're going for your Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
People are actually getting on public transport, paying for cash, getting the bus ticket, getting a return ticket, and straight back home again.
What was I'm assuming you
the
came
reason
across an
being
article, or?
Not taking your phone out and using your phone.
Okay.
Not using your bank and using your app. You know the way you can just go into your app and pay with your phone?
Tap to pay, yep.
No, cash.
Okay.
Nobody can come after you when you pay cash.
Okay.
Nobody can touch you. And I always carry a wee bit of cash with me. I'd rather use cash first than go beep. Cash or beep, I'll go cash.
I have been cash free for about 6 years now, like since they introduced Apple Pay, whatever that was. I remember the first time that this was released. Like I've been using it ever since religiously. I simply don't carry cash.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
The scammers obviously get pushed further and further back, further and further into the wilderness of the tinternet. But they have to come up with even more clever, and they need scams like someone tried to scam you. Hey, I'm a family member, twice removed, and they're using that person's name because they're going into your family tree on social media and they can say, oh, this was his second cousin. So he'll believe who it is and to trip them up. I think personally speaking, the minute you get that kind of a message, go into the info, block.
Yeah. I agree.
And then report
it. This time of the year, especially because
oh my God,
there's Amazon, they're doing their Black Friday thing at the moment, and there'll be a lot of scam emails be coming out, and it's easy to sort of get tripped up. So yes, just take care of this holiday shopping
sips and
season.
gigglers, please have your wits about you. And if you get a call, a text, an email, and you're not sure about it, phone someone you trust. And say, listen, I've just had a call, I've had a text, I've had an email, and they'll tell you what to do.
Yep, 100%.
Delete,
sage advice. Well, Alexi, Miss Legs.
What, love?
That's us for another episode.
Ooh.
But before we go, we've got time for a very quick game.
Fabulous.
Of skip or sip.
Skipper sip, skipper sip, skipper sip.
Okay, so I've shuffled my deck. I've shuffled my deck as per usual. I'm fanning them.
Did you say deck?
I did.
Okay. Excellent. Okay.
You can go first.
Okay, I'm going to go first, ladies and gentlemen. One?
Yes, just the one.
All right, love. Okay, here we go. So is this a skip or a sip? They check in on Facebook everywhere they go.
Okay. This became a bit of a skip for me.
Okay.
Because, first of all, I used to be that person.
Me too.
And I used to do things where we met a couple of people on holiday before, and we used to do this really weird thing where they would be like in, say, San Diego, for example, and we would check them into local places here in Belfast as if they were there with us. That just became a thing.
Right.
And now looking back, it's kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
So it is a skip from me. What about you?
Yeah, I was always the same. And I think when the lockdowns came and I come off all social media platforms, and then when I decided to go back on, I had completely reversed my social media workings and thought, do you know what? I'm just going to bid everybody a good morning and just tell them, stay safe and be kind.
I think just going back to this idea of the conversation we just had about scams, you're also telling people
where you are,
and that you're not at home. Like
what you're doing, where you've been, what you've just ate, what you've just spent. And it's like when you're going on holiday, oh, empty house, let's go and burgle it.
Well, it's a good job that we've got high-tech houses.
Yes, we do. We do very high-tech houses. But I just think a lot of it is totally unnecessary. But it's the blind leading the blind, and that's what social media does.
That's it.
It's all these comparisons that the poor mates are up against.
Yeah.
You ready for another one?
Go for it.
Here we go. They love to wear socks with sandals.
So this is a kind of a weird one because that kind of fashion is kind of in at the moment. I don't know whether you've noticed
this.
Is it?
Where have you been?
But like a lot. So the mullet and all's back. And
I like the mullet.
The mullet's back, and then the sort of the rolled up khakis with the white socks and the sort of like the loafers and all are in at the moment as well. So
no, this
I know what you're saying. It's socks with sandals, but I'm just saying that it's kind of like forgivable at the moment. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like I feel
freezing.
Well, it will, but I mean, like just in 2024 in general, just the kind of fashion at the moment. It's definitely a skip from me.
It's a skip for me as well, but when you say mullet, I think of Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal, yeah.
Paul Mescal, I think, oh, do you know if anybody suited a mullet? Oh, hello, you big gladiator.
Okay, my turn. Here we go. Here we go. Shuffling. Okay. They drive at least 5 miles per hour under the speed limit at all times.
I've started doing that.
I know you have.
I have because I had to do a speed awareness course.
Tina's speed devil legs tantrum.
I was doing 40 and a 30 and I got scooped and that just really brought it home for me. I wouldn't do 5 under, but I just make sure I'm doing the right. I'm very weary of my driving, and I always have been. It was just we were going to Larne, and it was the 31st of August, and it was a hot sunny day, and we were going down a hill, and I just didn't realise lack of attention.
Yeah.
And then I got a letter, and then I had to do the online course at home. I qualified to pass.
So is it a skip or a sip?
Sip.
It's a sip. Okay, for me it's a sip.
Okay.
Since I've got my new motor, I now find that because there's new legislation in the EU, if you go over the speed limit, the car starts beeping at you and there's no way to turn it off.
Oh.
So we're promoting safe driving, particularly in the icy roads, late nights, or getting darker nights, and all the rest of it.
Oh, and you know what? Speaking of late nights, the shortest day and the longest night is due very soon.
It is, and you know what? It's my friend Mark's birthday.
No way.
It
Sparkles?
On the 20th of December.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
And then my friend Gillian, her birthday's on the 21st. So they have this long running joke that Mark was born on the darkest day of the year and Gillian was born when the just as the day started to get brighter.
Yeah. And you know what? With that being the shortest, darkest day, and then when it comes to 21st of December, I kind of go, it's starting to get bright again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is the last one.
Didn't.
They are obsessed with Taylor Swift. Are you a Swiftie?
Skip.
Are you a Swiftie?
Skip. Okay. No. I love her and I think she's brilliant. I think, but am I into her? No.
I don't mind her. I probably wouldn't listen to her stuff if I'm honest.
No, nearly I.
I mean,
she's very, very young. She's got a very, very young audience, and she plays to it beautifully.
Loyal fans.
Oh, Swifties.
You may tell people that you love Taylor; they'll come for you.
I do love her. I think she's brilliant. She's just not my cup of tea.
I agree.
She's not my sip.
She's not your tay-tay.
She's not my tay-tay. Honest to me, go. Give me a bit of Donna Summer, Diana Ross, The Supremes, Whitney Houston, Beyonce.
Only for the fact that I don't want the Taylor Swift fans to come for me. I'm going to say she's a sip. And people who are obsessed are a sip.
Run, chicken, run, Forrest, run.
Well, look, that is all we've got time for this episode. It's been one for the road. Until next time, Miss Legs.
Yes, darling. Chin, chin.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of G&T Sips and Giggles. If you've enjoyed our conversation, then don't forget to share it with your friends, and why not subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Your reviews mean the world to us and really help others find the show, so please take a moment to leave one. But be kind. If you'd like to support the podcast, why not consider joining us on Patreon? For the cost of a drink a month, you can listen to episodes early, access exclusive digital content, and get discounts to upcoming G&T shows. Your support helps us keep the conversation flowing. Cheers. We'll see you next time. Chin chin.